How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Loose Cannons. Hope you're good, hope you're well. It's nice and early, bright and early, Thursday morning, the morning after the night before League Cup action, Carabao Cup action, last 16, and we're in the quarterfinals, people. And we've got game week 10 coming up this weekend, Premier League, off to Burnley, away fixture. First of a few next week, and we're going to talk about that. Big up, as usual, Jordan and James in the building, and as usual, big up our special guest in the building, Emenya. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Emenya on socials. He's doing his thing on socials. He covers the world of football, but he is an
best one so far. Best one so far. No, seriously, we've had some sick guests, but we've leveled
up. I'm gonna tune in next week because it's the same thing, bro.
No.
Yeah, I'm glad you're watching.
No, brother. You to be on this podcast is a big thing for us. We've had some big dogs on, but you. Different level.
Didn't I just see Sharky like just 2 weeks ago or something, bro?
Yeah, but that's old news. Like now we've gone up, we've leveled up again. Yeah, just say it. Sorry, Turkish. Sorry.
Appreciate it regardless.
Come on, brother. Come on.
No worries, people. If you don't know, then I'm gonna put the socials in the description below. You haven't joined us on the YouTube world yet, man. Yeah, you do most of your content on TikTok, Instagram, and those platforms, right?
Yeah, I do. I started YouTube like a month or two ago in it, so I'm now doing the daily thing, but before that, yeah, it was mostly just TikTok, IG and whatnot. So
okay, I will put the YouTube in there as well. We'll put the YouTube there as well. A month old, so yeah, hopefully we can help on the journey. People, go subscribe to Emenya's channel. But obviously socials are there as well. James.
Okay, yeah, I just want to shout out my personal favorite piece of content is when you say something like 10 wingers better than Anthony or something, and then you go
only 10,
and then you go, I'm gonna keep going, and then you go 50. And I'm like, yeah, it's class. No, but everyone generally go check it out. Really good content. It's great to have you on the.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's how old are you, Emenya, if you don't mind me asking?
28.
Okay, no, I asked because one of the videos I remember is when you did the Ballon d'Or 20 this year against the Ballon d'Or 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And you knew your stuff, the R9s of the world. And
listen, I was a nerd for football. When I go, like, you see when you go on Facebook here and it shows like on this day, whatever, when you posted a certain amount of years ago, yeah. I'm sitting there typing about like I can't wait for Arshavin debut back in like 09 times. I'm there like reading through my stuff like was I yapping about football even back then? So yeah, I've been there.
Emenya, I'm so sorry if I'm wrong. I'm really sorry if I'm wrong. But did you not used to do some YouTube videos about former players, players from 30 years? Yeah, because I remember checking out your channel. There's some really good like content around.
Yeah, I used to yap about like Eusebio, Di Stefano, like, all of them, man. All of them. They're my dogs, man.
No, fair play. That was really good content.
And still young as well. Like when I asked you, because I'm thinking there's no way this guy's 38 because he knows his stuff like he's 38. But yeah, 28.
I just watch football like a nerd, man. I just watch football like a nerd. I'll be honest.
And that's good, and the community will appreciate that. Another angle. This is what the special guests are about, people. So hit that like button. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Let's go subscribe to Emenya's channel, social platforms, and obviously let's do the same for Jordan, James, and yeah, the big six whilst you're at it. But like I said, Carabao Cup win, quarterfinals on the way, December, and Premier League football back thick and fast. Jordan, James, Emenya, 2-0 win against Brighton, heavily rotated side. James, let's start with you. Thoughts overall, 2-0, another clean sheet, big rotation. We spoke of that before leading up to the game. Would we, won't we, should we, shouldn't we? He did, and it took a while to get into the game, but we got into it and got out of it and got the usual.
Yeah, big rotation. I wasn't expecting that. Eze, the only player to keep his place, and even he was moved out to the left rather than playing in the 10. You know, the performance was actually the first half. You know, let's be honest, we should have been 2-0 down. Yeah. But I didn't read, not that I didn't care. Just once we got away with it, I went, okay, cool. Like, if we find a way through with all the changes we've made, obviously Brighton made some changes too. I was just kind of happy to move on to the next round. We've seen that, you can't just make changes and expect to go through because a lot of teams have fallen already before this hurdle. Now we're in the quarters where you start to get a little bit excited about it. We can talk about that later. Ultimately, Arsenal have players that now have to win games now, and that's what NWANERI did on the edge of the penalty area, like Eze did on the edge of the penalty area on the weekend. Second half, we were much better for what it's worth, but first half, it could easily have been a goal or two down. You know what? Across the pitch, I wasn't first half. There's only really Nkapé and Mosquera I was that impressed with. I thought that the centre backs were kind of keeping us in it. Everyone else, Norgard was slightly disappointing. Lewis Skelly was getting some things wrong, if I'm honest. NWANERI wasn't having the kind of game I was expecting. Dowman looked good. Dowman looked very good, actually, and he got better as the game went on. But then, anyway, was that, sorry?
NWANERI? I thought NWANERI and Dowman first half had the Dowman especially, but...
I was a little bit underwhelmed with NWANERI, if I'm honest. I didn't love his performance. I thought he was fine. I didn't think he was bad in any way, but I didn't think he was great. I think second half, he pulls out the goal. It's a great finish because he can do that. He can produce moments, which is great. We need more of those players in the team. But second half got a lot better. Great football for the goal, like really good football. And actually, a lot of the players that I was a little bit underwhelmed by all combined, Eze, Marino, Lewis Skelly, and then NWANERI with the finish. I thought it was really, really good football. They say we can't score, opening goals from open play. And there you go. That was a nice one. And then we cruised the second half, really, from that point onwards. And we've booked ourselves into the next round. If this were a Premier League game, I'd be sat here a lot more concerned about the kind of chances we conceded, how open we were. But we rotated massively. It's the Carabao Cup. The players they're not just looking for fitness. They're looking for cohesion amongst each other. And that takes time to build. So to come through with another clean sheet, no goals conceded in October, 2-0, Carabao Cup quarters with another home tie awaiting us. Look, I'm basically nothing but happy with it. So, yeah, we kept it moving in actually fairly solid fashion. So I'm a happy man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm similar to you. Should have been 2 down in the first 10 minutes, but it was one of those ones where you just shake it off and you just keep knowing that the amount of changes we made against the Brighton side, that they've been inconsistent this season, but they can string together patches across a 90-minute performance. And with the changes made, Eze was the only first team, starting player, senior player that really started the game for us. And Menya, you obviously watched the game, and what was your takeaways overall before we get into the details?
I mean, for the most part, I think he's just spoken for all of us here, realistically, where before the game, obviously Carabao Cup, in general, people say they don't really care about it, but at the same time, for us, it's a trophy that we got to start winning. When I seen the lineup, I thought, I can't lie. That's a lot more than I expected. The game started, and obviously it showed that we rotated very, very heavily. Obviously, we got a couple debutants. We started off very shaky, as said, but with me, after about 20-30 minutes, when we sort of rid that storm, if you will, once there wasn't the Brighton breakthrough and whatnot, and I started seeing, obviously, me, when I'm watching the games, I'm a bit like a DJ at times where I have the other tabs on my very, legal means of seeing the other games.
Of course.
I see Palace back, and I'm now thinking, hold on a minute. Maybe we start taking this Carabao very seriously. And then, of course, once the first goal goes in, I sit back and I'm comfortable. Like, I know from that point, I'll be honest, we're not really going to concede goals. And in the back of your mind, if anything does go wrong, you've got the likes of Saka to come on, Gabriel, Rice came on as well. So the first half, I was not feeling that midfield. Again, Marino just really interests me because there's times where I'm thinking, brother, what are you doing? And then he does that pre-assist for Ethan's goal. I'm just like, you know what, it fairs, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. Keep doing your thing. So all in all, we made it to the quarters. I can't really complain.
Big up, Jordan. I mean, Marino's a funny one. I've got his name down here to discuss, but give us your overall thoughts and we'll get into individuals.
Yeah, I want to get to Marino. He's my guy. I love Marino. He's my boy. I know he divides a fan base, but he's my guy. First of all, I was a little bit when I saw the starting lineup, it was probably 1 or 2 first teamers light than I would have liked. I know we discussed in the last pod whether we think we should have wholesale changes or a few. I was of the mindset that I just wanted, I think I said a bar SAKA, Rice, Saliba, and Timber. Those are the only 4 definites I didn't want to see. Everybody else, I was a bit like, I'm cool seeing Saliba start, Gabriel start. I'm cool seeing even Gyökeres start. So it was a little bit, this may be a little bit too light. Brighton are not a joke. And as I predicted, Brighton went with their midfield that was quite strong. And I was concerned. But a professional performance, a professional 2-0 win. You say there about we always get clean sheets, but that's a brand new back 5. So even to kind of change the whole back 5 and still be okay, yeah, the first 15 minutes we could have been 3 down, not even 2, it could have been 3. But once we kind of got through that, to kind of still keep a clean sheet despite wholesale changes at the back, I thought kind of spoke volumes about this team. And also, I want to just big up again Mikel Arteta's selection. He's getting everything right. Because, like I said, even I was a little bit like, I'm not sure, bro. We could be getting knocked out here. But unlike the Premier League champions, it's the opposite, where they're getting their selections madly incorrect. We seem to be getting our selections just bang on every single time. And I'm also really pleased for NWANERI because whatever happened in the second half of last season, it seemed like he just got dropped, like just dropped out of the picture completely. I think there probably was a method to the madness, for why he kind of went from being like the main guy in Saka's absence to just like 3-4 months. He just didn't touch ball at all. But for him to get a goal and be involved and start in this game just keeps him involved, and it keeps him understanding that you are a part of this squad. You're not going to start many games, but you are a part of this squad and there's a role for you. It's a good finish. So I was really happy that he got that goal. And the pre-assist from Marino, it's just beautiful. I think this guy's so good. I know he's not got an obvious skill set. I think that's why a lot of fans are a bit like, nah, what does he do? But I think he's very smart. I think his movement around the pitch and positioning is very, very intelligent for a midfielder. And technically, he's very good. I would go far to say he's one of our most technically gifted players. With the ball at his feet, he can do things that other players in our squad can't do. So I want to big up Marino as well. But professional job by the boys, 2-0 through to the next round. I want to win this cup. I know a lot of fans were like, oh, if we get knocked out, that's not the end of the world. No, I want to win this cup. I don't think we're in a position where we could be picky and choosy about trophies and cups. We need to win a cup. Now, is it the most important cup of the 4? Of course it's not. But Arsenal need to start winning trophies. I think James broke down earlier on the kind of amount of the trophies that we've not won. My maths are awful. So it's 6 years Mikel Arteta's been in charge, 4 cup competitions. My maths are 6 times 4, maths over 36.
Well, I always say it as the 3 years we finished second, the 3 years that I felt Arsenal were at a level to win trophies. And that's 12 trophies in those 3 years.
Well, there you go. So when we're not in any position to be turning our nose up at a Carabao Cup, does it make the season amazing? No. But if we're going to keep talking about saying that we're a big clubs pick up trophies. They pick up trophies. So I want to win this cup competition. So I'm really glad that we handled business relatively.
On that, sorry. On that, I want to win this competition. I think James said similar last time, and I think generally that's the consensus around it. And people look at me as someone that doesn't want to win it. I do want to win it, but what I saw last night is exactly what I want to see. Not performance, but personnel. I grew up on Jordan. You'll know Wenger used to literally rotate the whole 11 for League Cup, Worthington, Coca-Cola, whatever it was at the time, and it'd be used for the fringe players and the academy players, and that would excite me because that's a chance for me to see who we might call upon this season, who might be next up into the squad next season, and that's what we got. So I'm happy about it, and I still feel like, the whole argument of let's go strong. And I asked last week about what's more important right now for us. Is it the tactics or the players? I feel like the tactics are strong enough, and we've had years under our belt with Arteta that he can change it up and still get wins like this.
But there's a difference between the comparison with the Wenger doing it with the kid back in the day and now. Wenger was picking up trophies, or at least competing for the big trophies. When you're picking up Prems and you're competing for Premier League titles, you can afford to gamble in the League Cup with the kids and experiment and bring through some youth. You can afford to do that. Mikel Arteta can't afford to do that. He's got to win trophies. You can't be the Arsenal manager and win 1 trophy in 6 years. You can't do that. I mean, I would even be on his neck if he'd won 1 Prem in 6 years. Let's say we win a Premier League every 6 years. Would we accept that? We wouldn't.
No,
I'd be happy. I know what you mean. We'd want more.
You want more. So why is it we just? I think we got through this because we're a good team and a good run of form. We were at home and we know what we're doing. But if we'd have lost that game last night with that lineup, I'll be on this podcast right now pissed. I would.
Yeah, I would be too.
So would I. But I don't think Carabao makes or breaks you. And by that I mean we can win Carabao Cup and still not be happy about it. Like look at Man United, for example, with Ten Hag or similar examples. So
I think it's about this group deserving trophies. Like I believe that as a group, the work they've done for what I think is going to be a 4th season in a row now, I think they deserve like a plethora of silverware to fall back on at the end of their careers or their times at Arsenal and say, these are the things we cleaned up. Liverpool found it really, really tough to nick one title off City. And in the period that City have been winning them under Pep, they've managed to find 2. But what makes that record so impressive is you also say 3 Champions League finals, they've won a Champions League. You say they've won 2 Carabao Cups in that time. You say they've won an FA Cup, maybe 2, I think it's 1. You know, and those players, when Trent left Liverpool, he falls back on not just, I won 2 Premier Leagues in 7, 8 years, whatever it is, which is more than we've got. I'm sure that looks great, but it's all the trophies that accompany it with it. And I think in what is such a difficult era to win trophies in English football because of the dominance of Man City, because of the money flying around, I just take them all seriously. And, you know, Turkish, I also grew up on Wenger rotating heavily. Even Jurgen Klopp rotated so heavily in these games to the point where you really wondered whether he didn't care. Slot's now getting pelters for doing that at Liverpool, and you can understand why last night. But Mourinho, Pep, you know, Mourinho would always win the Carabao Cup en route to winning that first title. Pep Guardiola won 4 Carabaos in a row. But then you got managers like Ferguson. Was it Ferguson? Who didn't win the FA Cup for however many years? I don't think Rooney won his first FA Cup at Man United till Louis van Gaal was there. I think.
Maybe, yeah.
So it's just a little, sometimes it's a little bit chance. It's a little bit luck of the draw. And some of it is also just every manager has a different way of seeing it. I personally would have gone a little bit stronger for last night's game. However, I can only give Arteta major credit for making that many changes, preserving the fitness of Zubimendi, of Gyökeres, of largely Saka and Gabriel and others ahead of a massive game on the weekend, and getting past Brighton with all those changes. Like, Brighton are no joke. Brighton have a stacked squad as well. You know, they've got good players, and we found a way. We found a way past them. Premier League opposition, job done. So I can only be praising them.
James, can I just get you mentioned there, and I'd love to get Amenya's view on this as well. The whole certain players got a rest. Do you think that's true if they're on the bench?
That is such a good question, Jordan. You know, because I've wondered this too. So, yeah, because they haven't played in a competitive environment where they're getting kicked and, you know, they're, you know, chasing every ball. Like, there's definitely a different intensity to the game. But I kind of know what you mean. They've still got to go to the game, do the warm-up. Yeah, take on all the instruction in case they are called upon. You know, ultimately do the warm down, get back at midnight, 1 a.m., whatever. I know what you mean. It's not like they're at home, feet up completely. But let's say they are more rested. And perhaps the good thing is that they're still in that flow of sort of game day routine, which isn't a bad thing. But I know what you mean. This idea that just being on the bench and doing nothing is like a full rest. I imagine it's probably not. I imagine they're probably still having to actually focus quite a bit in some other areas. But yeah, ultimately they've been rested. But I actually think you ask a really good question because I have wondered that. What do you think, Amenya?
No, I fully agree with what you're saying. However, I do still believe it's a rest in the sense that on the one hand, obviously, you're not playing at your maximum physical capacity, which is something that is required of us every 3 days or 6 days, whatever it may be. And also, the most important thing is not necessarily the rest, but the avoidance of injury. Because we know, despite us having much better squad depth this season, there are still players that you do not want anything to happen to. Obviously, we don't want anyone to get injured, but guys like Gabriel, Rice, and Saka, you'd really, really rely on them the entire season to not get those injuries. And I do believe staying on the bench for 70, 75, 80 minutes, yes, he's still got to warm up before the game and do the little halftime warm-ups and that, but it is far less physical exertion than starting minute 1 trying to, because bear in mind, of course, Brighton, again, were probably, you could say, dominating us. They came on at 1-0 where we're kind of controlling the game. We haven't got to force the issue, if you will. We're kind of just like, all right, we're in third gear, just keep the ball. If you can make a second chance, cool. If not, no problem. But I get your point that obviously staying in your house and sleeping is much better of a rest.
Liverpool went the other way. Sorry, Liverpool, they Salah, Van Dijk, their big boys went in the stadium. So you'd argue they got a real rest. Now look,
big up to them, man. Congrats on their rest.
they got knocked out. So people would say, "Oh, why would you not have them big boys on the bench?" But I just find it interesting of, if you're going to rest players, rest them. So although Liverpool are out the cup, the benefit for them is that their big boys are completely rested. Whereas Saka,
do you think they're happy about that though, in terms of the players? Because we know guys like Rice and whatnot, they want to play no matter what. Obviously, that's not smart, but you'd rather have them there available, knowing they really, really want to play, even if it's just 15, 20 minutes. Than, oh yeah, I got to wait at home. We're out, but guess what, guys? I'm going to be 10% ready on the weekend.
I'm the opposite, bro. I almost think I would have gone strong with a few first teamers and then take them off. If you're going to play them, play them. If you're not going to play them, leave them at home so they get a proper rest. Again, Liverpool are out, so people would say it backfired. I don't think resting those players not picking the big boys for Liverpool was a mistake for rest reasons. I think it was a mistake because they're just in bad form. I would have played some more of those players, try and get them back.
Are you saying that, like, as in, so in hindsight, yeah, let's say knowing what you know now, you'd have still started the better players, won the game, and then took them off? For
Liverpool or us?
Who were you referring to when you said?
I think for Arsenal, I would have gone stronger. So I'd have had a couple more.
Even knowing that we won without doing that.
Yeah, I would have.
I don't know, I think this is like the perfect scenario. Rest everyone.
I agree. It's perfect.
But that's my point. Everyone didn't get rested. Saka didn't get rested.
Yeah. No, but he came off ill, so he didn't really train much last week. Playing an hour against Palace not at his best, and Arteta's probably thinking 30 minutes is probably ideal for him.
I'd argue, especially someone like Arteta, the mental capacity to perform and the expectations Arteta puts on these players, I'd argue the mental tiredness is probably more of a bigger issue than the physical.
But we don't know the instructions. So Arteta might be saying to certain players, or even to the team in general, I'm not saying they didn't prep for this. Of course they prepped. But I imagine he probably said to Gabriel, to Rice, to Saka, look, this is fitness in the legs. This is just get in the way, get us through but don't go into any 50-50s. Don't mega sprint, press up the pitch. Just cruise, just second gear your way. Yeah, I imagine there is a little bit of that. I actually think Arsenal have shown that they are quite good at managing their way through the season at the moment. I don't see them kind of full throttle at all times. Even against Palace on the weekend, we were frustrated watching them going, can you create more? Can you play with a bit more intensity? But they're also probably like, look, we will ease to that if we have to. But, you can't do it sort of every 3 days all the time. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were sent on with a bit of a like, listen, just don't push it. But do we got to do fair,
Timber wasn't told about that one then, I can't lie, because Timber,
well, that's true.
Timber was running for his life, so he didn't get that message. But
he's always gear 5, gear 6 Timber. But the game's going further and further. We've got people saying that players ain't resting on the bench now. What the hell's going on? We're gonna have Rodri coming out. Rodri gonna come out soon and say we should, if we want to rest.
Not a rest though, Turkish. Come on, if you are coming to the stadium, you're going through the process. You're warming up with everybody else. You're getting ready you're getting your kit on. You're part of the match day experience. You're just because you're sitting down, that doesn't mean that you're rested. Not resting. You're part of the process of winning a football game.
Yeah, but you're sitting down, so you're physically resting, right? But you're talking about the mental side, right?
But even physically, you still got to warm up. You still got to warm down.
Yeah, no, but if you don't go to work, if you don't go Channel 4 tomorrow, are you just gonna stay in bed all day?
Well, the comparison is different because my job isn't physically. My job isn't physically. I'm not exerting physical. What's the word? I'm a writer. I'm a journalist. My job doesn't involve me working and moving. My job is to go to an office and record interviews. That's not physically exerting. A footballer's job is physically exerting.
Not on the bench. Not on the bench. It's not.
Well, but it's not just the bench. It's the whole day. The whole day you're mentally switched on, and you're to some degree physically getting yourself right. You still got to warm up.
You know what it is though. But again, I think it's part of what maybe Arteta's building. These are guys that want to do that. I think if you offer them the choice, like, do you want to come and
I don't deny that
jog around for 20 minutes or stay at home? I think they all want to come and play.
No, I don't deny that. I'm just saying Salah got rested. Van Dijk, that's rest. Stay at home. That's rest.
They're going to stay at home every Carabao Cup right now.
They're not going to put like rest on their Wikipedia honors or something. Like they're out now. That's it.
But we're conflating. Sorry, I'm dragging Salah, but we're conflating the decision with the outcome. Just because the outcome is the desired one doesn't mean the decision was the right one.
Agreed, but I think it's all we can go off right now, which is we did rest the majority of players, or if you don't want to say rest, we partially rested most of the players.
Let's agree on that.
And now we're able to go to the weekend where a team has fully rested because they did not play in the Carabao, right? So we're going to be playing them, and it allows us to be a better percentage to win with those fine margins, which we know in the Premier League against any team.
Sure.
Every tiny bit of, if it's 2% extra health, let's go like it's a game or something, 2% extra health, that's better for us. If it means we're more likely to win the 3 points, then we've done the job.
Could we talk about Max Dowman? Sorry.
Come on.
I'm just like, I mean, he rested a little bit more on the bench, this guy or that guy. I want to talk about the 15-year-old who is looking like one of the most talented youngsters I've ever seen in the football club.
Yeah, our youngest ever player officially now in a competitive game. I think unofficially in non-competitive game he also was from pre-season. But Emenya, let's start with you on Dowman. I spoke of your football knowledge and you spoke of how much you've loved the game. These sorts of gems are few and far between in the football world, right?
Very much so, very much so. He's someone that I think from the moment we see him, obviously everyone's seen his clips and whatnot. I think it was 2024. It was like 14. Someone posted a compilation, and I likened it at the time to like Odegaard and Smith Rowe at their best as a comparison. That's without even seeing him play properly. Obviously, Smith Rowe when he was, like that 2020, 21 time when he was just running through people. Obviously, he was bagging goals and whatnot. And it's the confidence he has, but also the confidence that his teammates have in him. Because sometimes a youngster can come in and it's like, all right, big up your team, but we're gonna stick to SAKA or to Eze, whoever it may be. In pre-season, I went to not the Emirates Cup, whatever. We played like 2 Spanish games, Villarreal and Bilbao at the Emirates. I went there, and the way people are just like pinging diagonals to him and saying, you know what, go do your thing, bro, and he don't even care. They can be roughing him up. They can be physical with him. And he's not a small guy as well, by the way. For someone that's 15, I met him by chance after an Arsenal game where his box was right next to where I was doing like some work stuff. And he just walked through in his sliders like nothing had happened. And he's there like smiling, taking pictures. And you can tell that it's someone that he proper loves the club as well. And obviously, we speak about, let's say, the physical exertions. Someone knowing that they play for the club that they love, they're always going to give you that little bit more. And of course, on the pitch, talent-wise, I mean, this guy, he's a penalty magnet. I mean, he didn't quite get one yesterday, but he will be a penalty magnet for this foreseeable future. And I'm very much enjoying watching him. Like you mentioned earlier, we see Arsene Wenger times. He's bringing in the youngsters. When you start seeing like Fran Merida score that banging long shot, or you see Carlos Vela doing the chips, it gets you a little bit more endorphins than just, let's say, obviously big up like Norgard, but if Norgard scored, I'm like, cool, man. Like, I'm happy in it, but I want to see the youngsters balling, so I'm happy for him. Didn't get his goal, but we're still coming. Champions League game will be there as well.
Yeah, we will be there. James, talk to me, man. I mean, that's exactly what it's about for me. The Meridas and Lupolis and Fabregazes and that era, and we got to see some of our young talent shining through. But this, I mean, some would say it's very early to say, and I tend to agree. But this might be one of the best yet in terms of Max Dowman and what he might go on to produce. Recently signed a YT contract that will lead him to 17, where it's expected he signs full time. But youngest ever player, and I'm sure he's going to break the Champions League record in the next month as well before he does turn officially 16. James,
he's a joke, isn't he? I mean, and when we're talking about where he ranks in the kind of best youngsters at Arsenal, the context of him being 15 is crucial because he's doing it a year or two ahead of others. I remember Jack Wilshere at 16 looking really impressive. We've seen others. Obviously, Bukayo Saka made his debut, I think, at 17. But then at 18, what Saka did was basically become one of our most important players almost immediately. NWANERI impressing. Obviously, he came on at 15, but at 17, he started to make an impact. Lewis Skelly at 17 too. So we're talking about Dowman at 15. And I'm only talking in recent years. Obviously, you can go back to the history books. Dowman, I think, I don't know if this is the biggest compliment I can pay to him, but it's that when he's getting the ball, he's not throwing a load of step overs and dropping the shoulder and kind of, there's no tricks, if that makes sense. It's guile and cute little touches and decisions about when to go, when to beat his fullback. And he just makes it look effortless. The way he does it, you almost go, Why can't other players do that? But of course they can't, because it's the deft little touches, the little things he's doing. They're just constantly, it's the timing of his movement, and also how direct he is when he gets the ball. He doesn't really waste time in making his decision. He kind of doesn't really front up the fullback too much. It's quite quick. You know, am I going to go around the outside, inside, or am I going to keep the ball moving? Look, I think this season will be a lot of these kind of minutes for him, coming off the bench every now and again in the league, Champions League. And he's already come on at Anfield, hasn't he? I think next season he's like a serious part of the squad, because I just think he's too good. I think there was an Arteta quote going into this game saying, "I just can't not play him." I think it was something like that. Did you guys read the quote? Something like,
yeah,
I can't
he
not
said
play him.
if you look at his passport, I wouldn't play him because he's just some random 15-year-old kid. But when I watch him in training every day, you think I'm crazy to not play him every match or something along those lines. So.
Well, there you go. And that tells you how much he rates the guy. And to give him a start, I mean, that surprised me as well. I thought he might have gone with a NWANERI on the right and brought in Zubimendi or Marino in the 10 or something like, Zubimendi in midfield, maybe Marino in the 10. I thought he might have done something like that. But he gave Dowman the start against Premier League opposition who had some recognisable defenders in there. And he looked great. So I'm really, really happy for him. I mean, fair play, congrats to him. Congrats to Harriman and Noose as well at 17, getting your debut up front for Arsenal. I mean, fair. I thought he did some nice things, so congrats to him. But obviously, Dowman was one who really kind of, lit up the Emirates, especially in that first half, and he got better as the game went on. I just think he's unbelievable, and I can't help but look 3 years into the future when you've got Dowman, Erdegaard, NWANERI, Saka, Madueke, a lot of right footers who play a lot of similar areas.
I don't think we can keep all of them for 4 years. I mean, that's too much similar profiles, similar movements on the pitch to keep happy. If that makes sense. I mean, if I'm looking at it, I see Dowman, NWANERI, Saka, guaranteed. Odegaard's the captain. So that's already 4 of the 5 that you said actually. So yeah, it's hard to envision what it looks like. But there's still 2-3 years to go before we, in my opinion, yeah.
And so much happens, right? I mean, Jesus, his first 4 months, which would be at this point in the season in 22-23, we were saying, no way Jesus isn't a part of it in 3 years' time. Look how he's playing. But things happen. So,
hey, did you see his training clips? He's back, by the way. Huh? He's back. Don't give up. Don't give up.
I'm not giving up on him. Jordan isn't either. Look at him. He can't wait.
Mate, 2 years ago, mate. That was a long time. You lot are mad.
Don't give up. The training clips, I was moved. I celebrated that clip more than I celebrated the goals.
Such a shame, man. Just
give me a transfer fee.
James, I heard. Sorry, Jordan. Before you go, I heard you say that he doesn't necessarily bring out the step overs and the skills and all of that, but he's just so efficient with the way he moves, the low center of gravity. And I'm not going to say the player because he's the greatest of all time and the best ever, but that's a trait that people tend to put to him, and that's the upper echelon, that's the best ever, that's the aim, that's the target for every young footballer coming through. So I'm just intrigued, excited to see.
I'm glad you said that though, Turkish, because there'll be some people who maybe took that as me not being particularly complimentary. Of course he's got skill, of course he's got unbelievable flair and talent, but you're right, I agree with you, the best to ever do it for me was someone who didn't need to do those things. It was about movement and guard and carry and timing and all that, and just doing everything with an unbelievable kind of efficiency, and you just glide through it. You make it look easy. And that's not, like you said, that's not comparing a potential or a talent. That's comparing a style. And there's other, but it's very rare you see players that can do that. We smile at John. What's wrong with you, man?
I can't smile.
No. You sit there every time we say something.
I'm listening.
Let me give Emenya and maybe some of the viewers a background to this. Let me give you a background.
I can't win.
When we signed Havertz, this guy here, that's shaking his head now. He said Havertz reminds him of Kaka.
I never said that. I never said that. I never said
something like that.
I never said that. See, this is the problem. The internet, right? I said I can understand potentially if Arteta can see comparisons with someone like Kaka. Tall, deceptively quick, plays in the hole,
Now you're putting it on Mikel. You said it, bro.
No. My exact words were, I can see why Mikel Arteta might be comparative to Kaka. Anyway, I'm only smiling because I'm like, if I said what James just said or Turkish just said, we know what would happen. That's why I'm smiling. I'm smiling.
No, man, you can go to like a lesser extent and say that like Saka does similar things where in terms of he'll do one tiny shoulder drop and the left back is gone. That's what I felt like with Dowman yesterday, where it's the right choice every time rather than, 7 step overs and Anthony scoops and whatnot. He'll literally stand you up, fake to go one way, touch it there, and already he's just running into the box and down the byline. That's what we've known Saka to be doing for a while now. It's just that Saka does it with such like relentless efficiency where it's the right choice every time, and he's obviously a lot stronger than Max Dowman is in like the duels, as Arteta would say.
All I was go on, Turkish, go on.
I just want to go in a different angle with you, Jordan, whilst you say what you're going to say. But I keep on comparing the eras and what I'm used to, and James mentioned it and Menya's mentioned it. The big difference though with the eras is Wenger didn't have pressure to play the youngsters, and the media wasn't putting pressure to play talented youngsters at the time. I think now more than ever, there's an extra layer of pressure to be putting these players into positions where their pathway is very evident, regardless of 15, 16. I think back then when Fabregas came through, there was no pressure to be playing Fabregas, for example, who I'd put as our best youngster in my era. It's just that these competitions, Wenger was allowed to do that. A lot of managers were allowed to do that. Now, with a Dowman, I think part of we know his talent, but part of also keeping him and his people around him happy is giving him these starts and these minutes. So do you think that the extra pressure plays a part in this? Or...
I'm not sure I agree with the premise of the question. I don't think there necessarily is more pressure now than there was 15, 20 years ago. I don't think Arteta's been pressured to play young players. I think he just has an academy where it's bursting full of talent and he's thinking, boy, let's try and get these guys integrated in the squad as soon as possible. On Dowman, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I'm the one saying that I don't think he should be playing, right? I'm not comfortable with the guy playing at 15 years old. I'm not going to change my mind on that. But all I'll say is I agree that the guy's a freak. The guy is mad talented. The guy, he's a joy to watch. And I love to see young players coming through, just not 15-year-olds. All I'll say, though, is should he have had a penalty?
He looked for it.
We never really saw the replay properly.
I thought it was a pen. Am I being soft?
No, he looked for it. It's not soft.
Yeah,
it's not hard. Okay. It's the game now. It's part of the game.
I don't think he dived. I think he what we call anticipated contact. Like, I think if you skip past a player and someone's coming at you, I think you got every right to think, he's probably going to clatter me. But he's got a clatter you. If you just kind of leave a leg there and you get caught. That's the only thing. But you know what? He tried it. Fair play, Max. And you know what? There are actually little things like that where you can tell he's not overawed by first team football. Because in that situation, he's kind of doing what the pros do. The other thing he did was, obviously he's been fouled a few times. He just little barged into the back of the Brighton defender. Little things like that, I quite like that. He's just, I don't know, he's getting stuck in, which I quite like.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we could talk all day about Dowman, but listen, he's 15. I'm sure it's not going to be the last time we're here on Loose Cannons talking about him. So hit the like button, people. Make sure you are subscribed. On the goal, I didn't get a chance to talk about that goal. That first goal was absolutely beautiful. Marino, I think he's a good midfielder, and I was happy when we signed him. He's just never had enough consistency in that midfield role rather than the box crashing goal scoring role, which he's kind of proven himself in. But yeah, another moment for Marino in the midfield that gets me closer to him in terms of I don't mind seeing him start games for us. I don't think he's one of those players that comes in and then everything should be falling apart. He's got the experience, he's got the quality, and yeah, Lewis Skelly done well. NWANERI finish. And even Harry Mananous, I think he should have scored. He was unlucky. Timber done very well for that, bursting through the midfield like Lewis Skelly did the other day. Ball round the corner. Like I said, Anous should have scored, would have liked him to score. But Saka's follow-up, the composure, just to take a touch and finish it. That was nice as well. I think we needed that second goal as much as the clean sheets have been, consistent this season. I think, this game, the changes, everything about it, it just felt like we needed the second goal. When I see Gabriel coming on, I thought, why Then I remembered, the Hincapié injury, Timber coming on. Why? Well, Ben White, his match fitness, sharpness, he needs to come off too. So I think all in all, everything worked out perfectly. I don't think there's Mosquera. It's worth mentioning him briefly because the moments that we did have defensively where we had to do something, make a block, get that final nick on the ball. Mosquera was the guy. I fully expect him to start this weekend as well, but we'll get into that shortly.
I thought he was sensational, and Hincapié, because the only Mosquera moment where he got caught, Hincapié gets the block. But I thought Hincapié was great at also just settling down the play, taking a touch, getting us going. I genuinely, I mean, those two are our backup centre backs. Do you know they'd have started for us 10 years ago?
They start for most teams now. To be fair, a lot of teams could do with them starting. So
don't even remind me about 10 years ago. I'm doing my best to forget about that. So was Mikel. He's trying to help. But yeah, it's unfortunate though. Saliba and Martinelli. I know Saliba. He came off half time with something. He missed this game. Arteta's quite coy about his return and what it is and whatnot. That could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. But Martinelli as well. Which kind of leaves us quite thin, and we've spoken of our squad depth a lot this season and off the back of the summer. But when you look at our squad now going into the game, a lot of first teamers out, and Saliba and Martinelli have been added to that list. So something to look out for. Quarterfinal wise, everyone happy with their draw? Emirates, Crystal Palace home.
I'm not delighted with it. I think there were better draws out there. Palace, I think, will prove difficult, even in just the shape they get in. We saw that on the weekend. I actually think if things continue this way for Arsenal, we're going to rotate again quite a bit for that game. Maybe a few first teamers, but what we hope is that basically Havertz, Ødegaard and Madueke are back. Maybe Jesus, but I doubt it. It'll be 15th of December. He'll have done nearly a year out, so I think Jesus might be back. So if you rotate with those players coming in, I'm all right with that. But yeah, it will be tricky. I would have liked basically any of the other, and I mean this all the respect in the world, but any of the other more mid-table Premier League clubs at home over Palace, who have been on a terrific run and Glasnow's shown what we can do in cups. I'm glad we've avoided a Chelsea, City or Newcastle away.
Yeah.
But yeah, this isn't going to be straightforward at all. But let's hope we get through.
I don't personally care who we draw. Like, it doesn't bother me who we get. I think what's more important is we're at home. The home draw, I think, is more important than the opponent. Personally, I'd rather get a good team at home than a bad team away. Do you know what I mean? Because I just think playing at home, I think we one, I can go to the game, and two, I'm just more confident with our home record. But the other reason why it's a problem is because teams like Palace now are seeing they've got a taste for cups. These teams are not rotating like 5 years ago, putting out B teams. These teams are smelling that, you know what, we can be a mid-table Premier League team and win a trophy. West Ham, Palace, Newcastle, Spurs have all won cups in the last 2 or 3 years. So those teams now think that they can get trophies. So Palace will be going for this. They let's see what form they go into leading up to the game. But Palace, they're not going to be just putting out their B team. They're going to go for it. They're going to come to win. Do you know what I mean? So
well, they had, sorry to cut you, John. They had Gehi, Munoz, Lacroix, Sosa, Hughes, Pino, Sarr, and Nketiah all start.
Yeah, it was the best team bar, like basically Wharton and someone else.
And Mateta,
yeah. So
yeah. And then the rest of the quarterfinal draw: Cardiff, Chelsea, Man City, Brentford, Newcastle, Fulham. So you'd probably expect, if all things went as expectations go, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, and Newcastle in the semi-final. Which, if it does land like that, obviously, you're looking at Man City as the main threat if you're an Arsenal fan. But overall, Newcastle back-to-back finals. They're the defending champions too. And speaking of that, cup success and feel that Jordan talked about, Newcastle well and truly got that too, as well as Crystal Palace. So yeah, December 17th, 16th-ish is when the fixtures will be played. We'll find out on those ones soon, but let's keep it moving, people. We should have hit 1,000 likes. Make sure we've hit 1,000 likes. Make sure you're hyping the video. Make sure you're subscribed. Emenia's channel, socials in the description below. Show some love as always. And let's get into looking forward. Burnley away, a little patch of away games now. Burnley, Slavia Prague, and Sunderland all in the space of a week. How are we feeling about it? Emmanuel, let's start with you. Burnley away, is there any nerves? I mean, they're 16th in the league. They've conceded 17 goals, but
I can't lie, it don't matter. There's nerves now at this point for every game. I'm nervous as I'm the one playing, I'll be honest, because like, although yes, it's two newly promoted teams and take it one game at a time. You mentioned Sunderland as well. If it's a big if we're to get through these two games, bearing in mind Liverpool do play Man City, shortly as well, I think I'll be like, you know what? Okay, cool. For the first time in quite a while, even in them, 22, 23, and then the next year, for the first time, I'll be like, you know what? At this point, you have to win it. Like, I think Arsenal do win it. But we have to speak about right now, which is Burnley away. Obviously, look, Wolves is like everyone eats. Anyone can go to Wolves and just, go and get 3 points. So it's hard to really judge, but they are obviously going to be there with a bit of confidence. We should get the job done. You mentioned Martinelli. It's not ideal to not have him because I feel as though he's our only player that's like a proper outlet that can just run in behind relentlessly. All our other forwards are more ball to feet, take on their man. Obviously, Gyökeres can run the channels a little bit as well, but not to the level of a Martinelli. So I'm just praying. I'll be honest. I don't care if we win 1-0 and it's a terrible set piece again and everyone is crying. I'll be real. Just get me the 3 points here and the 3 points somehow at Sunderland. And then I'm asking you, man, like, what you man wearing to the parade in May? I'll be honest.
Hey, link up. Fingers
crossed.
There.
I'll be there.
You mentioned Wolves. They're coming off the back of Wolves and Leeds wins. The two of their 3 wins. Their only win coming in the first 7 was Sunderland, which is a surprise considering what Sunderland are doing now. But Leeds and Wolves back to back. Jordan, they're on a little bit of a run, Burnley. But looking at goals conceded, 17, and looking at how tight we are at the back, and the goals we've scored with that without really clicking an attack yet. Is it a formality or is it one of those? Burnley feels like Stoke to me, where in
your head like years ago, isn't it?
Once upon a time, there was that team that I used to just didn't want to play, and now it does. They're not that team no more, but there's still that stigma in my mind, Jordan.
I don't think it's a formality, but it's a sort of game I'm looking for Arsenal to go there and bust this myth that Burnley are this really great defensive, tough team to break down. I want us to go there and actually push out our chest a little bit and say, okay, a lot of teams struggle here. We're going to handle business. So, I'm expecting Arsenal to win this game because we're better, we're in better form. And I think we've got a very clear mission. We want to win this Premier League. Also, Emmanuel mentions the next 2 games for Liverpool, Villa and City. They can lose both those games. And if we can win our next 2 games, you can build the buffer. I keep banging on about building the buffer, build that gap, because at some point in the season, we will have a dip. We will have a poor run. But if you're 12 points clear, it's easy to handle that little dip in form when you've got that nice little buffer going on. So now's a point where our rivals, I just go back to our start of the season. We did so well to get all those points from our first 6 games of the season. That's where the hard work has gone to get us where we are right now. Now, Liverpool are going through their difficult fixture period. So whilst they're going through the mud, we've got to just build our lead. I'm looking for the guys to step up. You guys saying everyone's been rested. So everyone should come back fresh. Everyone should be fresh and ready to go and sharp. Only no excuses. But yeah, I think it's a game that we can win. I think it's a game that we will win.
James, anything of note before we maybe get into what we want the lineup to look like regarding Burnley?
No, not really. If I'm honest, the players that needed a rest got their rest. The players that didn't finish the game against Palace, Rice and Saka came on, so they got some minutes. But Gabriel did finish the game. The Gabriel sub was the only one I found a little bit strange. I don't know if it's because Nkapia wasn't quite match fit. And it was his first start, but keep it moving. Should be a fresh squad. I think they'll be difficult to break down, but I expect the energy levels to be there.
So let me go through a lineup and let's see what you guys think about it and what you might change. My lineup will be Raya, obviously in goal, Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel, Calafiori, with the note that Saliba's probably out, might be out. Said the same about Gabriel last weekend and he wasn't out. Zubimendi, Rice, and I'd bring in NWANERI for a second start of the week. Reason being because if Martinelli is out, I'd put Eze on the left, Saka on the right, and Gyökeres up top. That's how
that would be my team. But it'll be Eze 10 and Trossard on the left. Yes. But that would be my team. Trossard, I actually thought Trossard was really good against Palace. I thought he got better and better as the game went on. But I'm not seeing enough from these starts to kind of for me not to want to see Eze on the left, who I think even in that game against Brighton showed that what he can do in terms of beating players at times. And we know NWANERI, again, look at that goal. It's a moment of magic. Get your moments of magic players on the pitch. But then Trossard he's a clutch footballer who tends to find a goal, whether it's like right place, right time, or just on the edge of the area, make something happen. Composed finisher. Look, I won't complain whoever starts. I vote for NWANERI and Eze, but I think it'll be Eze Trossard. Otherwise, yeah, that's my team as well.
I probably agree. Jordan?
Sorry, I'm not mad at Eze if Eze started. I'm not against that. But equally, I would like to see Eze get a run in the same position. So moving him back out onto the left when he's played in the inside 8 for the last 2 or 3 games, I just don't think it's fair on him. I would love him just to get a run in that one position. Let's just lock it while Odegaard is out. Just let him have that role. And yeah, I'm not convinced. I never liked Trossard starting. I know he started against Fulham, got the winner, but generally I don't like Trossard starting on the left. I just don't think he's a starter. I think he's an impact guy that gives you moments of brilliance. But because I want to keep Eze in that position, I would probably then start Trossard on the left just out of necessity. But equally, yeah, if NWANERI started this game, I wouldn't be pissed about that as well. One quick thing, just going back to the Brighton game, we didn't big up Kepa. He made some really good saves in that game. I know obviously he'll come out for this league game, but I just wanted to shout him out because he made 2 or 3 really good saves. It's 2 clean sheets for him as well. Anyway, back to Burnley. I would go Trossard left and Eze in the middle. But equally, yes, I wouldn't be pissed off if NWANERI started in the Odegaard role.
Kepa's proving a very smart signing, to be fair. So
yeah, Carabao Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's just what I want to see him. That's just do your job there and help us win it, and on to the next Carabao after that. Maybe we'll see. Emenya, me and James want to see NWANERI 10, Eze left, Jordan saying Trossard left, Eze 10. Arteta will probably go with that. What would you go with?
You know what? I think I'm in agreement with both of you somehow. But I think if I want to pick my final decision, I would say I'd feel more comfortable seeing Trossard come off the bench, like having that option there if things are going a little bit wrong and we do need that scammy goal. Whereas, like, for as much as we know NWANERI's got the talent, I don't look at him as like, okay, last 20 minutes, you're going to come and rescue this game if we're losing, if that makes sense. Although we may say he's more talented than Trossard or he's more fun to watch or whatever. I think, sure, start NWANERI, show him that, like, cool, there is a pathway if you are performing in these lesser games, let's call them in a Carabao Cup, you can come in, get the start. But obviously, like we said as well, you do want to see Eze get that central 5-10 games and then let him grow into it over time. But obviously, we cannot help that Martinelli's out injured and Madueke is not here, and Havertz and Jesus and all the other options that we would have in the front three aren't here. You have to just unfortunately make do. So I'd say give it to Ethan, let Eze play on the left reluctantly, and then have Trossard there if we do need a goal in the last 20-30 minutes.
Okay. Community, you've heard what we want to see, you've heard what we think Arteta will go with, but we want to hear what you would like to see too. So leave us your comments. Before we do predictions, I think Emenya mentioned it, Jordan touched on it, but Liverpool playing Villa at Anfield is one thing. Man City got Bournemouth at Etihad. Does everyone think Liverpool and City both win their game? Because we've got a chance now. We play at 3 p.m. Liverpool play at 8 p.m. and City play on Sunday. So we've got a chance to, and this is no disrespect to Bournemouth, Sunderland. It is disrespect to Tottenham, who are currently making up the top 4 at this moment in time. But we're looking at City, Liverpool. Do we all think City beat Bournemouth and Liverpool beat Villa, or do we think there's one upset on the cards?
City's record at home to Bournemouth, I think I read, is 9 from 9. So Bournemouth look good right now, but I don't lead into records too much. But 9 from 9 is pretty decisive. Do you know what I mean? If they were to win that game, that would be rare for them. I don't think Liverpool beat Villa.
Okay. So
I just think it's mental that if City take points off Bournemouth, that helps extend our lead at the top if we win.
We're saying you want a little draw.
That's just mad.
Yeah, tight arrival, 6 points.
It was a little 0-0. Everyone lose their 2 points.
Oh, yeah.
Are we checking results?
Bournemouth are very good, but I don't. I think City will score a couple. With Villa, they're so weird. They had probably the worst start of the season, pound for pound, than anyone.
Yeah.
Them
and West Ham, I think, terrible.
Yeah, then put the results together. Now sitting in 8th, level on points with Liverpool. Okay.
Yeah, they went 5 wins in a row, and then they dropped in Europa League, and then they won again.
You know what's James? The craziest one is Amorim. The amount of pressure he was under, and now he sits above Liverpool, sits above Chelsea, joint on points with Man City. The first 3 games of the season feels like 3 years ago.
And they had tough games, United. Like, as much as we all clowned on them and had a laugh, like they actually did have a genuinely difficult start to the season as well. Yeah, the Premier League's mad. I mean, I know we've all talked about the league not being as fun to watch on the eye, but in terms of stories and dramas and narratives, and that it is developing into like a really good season in that sense. Anyway, Villa. Again, I think Liverpool will win. I think City and Liverpool are going to have a find a way weekend, if that makes sense.
And James, sorry, I just realised as well, Villa's record at Anfield is atrocious as well. So again, and I keep saying I don't put too much heed on historical records, but when a record is like that thick for a long period of time, you know, you got to look at it a little bit. So I changed my mind actually. I think you're right. I think Liverpool and City both probably win this weekend.
All right, so you're both going. I'm going. Bournemouth get something from City. I just think Iraola tactically. I just think, yeah, I see more hope there than Emery Villa. But yeah, I'll go City drop points. Liverpool.
Really, I see way more hope in Villa Emery actually.
Yeah, I just think Iraola tactically has time and time again managed to just pull out like gems of performances, and I think Man City outside of Haaland. Listen, Shirky had a good Carabao Cup performance, and Foden's picked up his performances recently. But as a team, Bournemouth, I think as a team, this early part of the season, they're a better team than Man City, which is crazy to say. Emenya.
You know what it is? I'm more thinking as well, yeah. Who do I want to drop points more in terms of like, obviously, you know, people were really angry about we're not afraid of this team and that team last year. I do think that if City somehow click, that one scares me a little more because they can hunt you down with 6 points, 7 points. You can never really rest until there's one game left and the gap is 4 points. You can't really rest with Man City. So I'd like for them to drop the points. I do believe Liverpool obviously went into the season as favourites for the title because, you know, they've broke the record twice. But I just think the longer it takes for it to click, the gap just becomes far too much for them to overhaul it. But in terms of what I think will happen, I'm gonna say they both win just to try and jinx it, to be honest with you. Let me say they both win, and then someone's like, "Oh, haha, you are wrong." I'm like, "Yeah, sorry then. I was wrong in it. Oh no,
it happened.
What
it happened." Come on. All right, let's do predictions for Burnley and Menu. Let's start with you and work round from James Jordan and back to me.
Okay.
Yeah, Burnley away.
You know what? I'm gonna go with a nice little 2-0. Do I give you my scorers as well?
Yeah, why not? Go on.
Yes, Saka will get one, and I reckon the other one, I'll give it Declan Rice. And before you guys make your score predictions, I would like to ask you as well. Forget the clean sheet. Are we going to concede a shot on target?
Yeah.
I've sent an appeal to the PGMOL about the Nketiah shot. I don't think that should count.
That's not a shot on target.
I've sent him a letter. It hasn't happened yet. So do we concede that shot on target?
Let me sign that letter, man, before you send it off.
Yeah, same.
Do we concede the shot on target away to Burnley? I'd say they shithouse a shot. I'd say they shithouse a shot. They'll get one in.
I have a feeling this one could be quite weirdly uncomfortable. I've actually said this for a few weeks now, so I feel like we're just due one where it's a bit like, oh, hold on, where did the shape go? Where did they just make it awkward? They just do they play with a back five?
I'm
not really.
I don't think so.
I think they have for some games.
Liverpool game they did.
Yeah, I think they have for some games, and I do think there's something about that formation where you're struggling to break them down, you lose the ball, and then suddenly these wing backs have charged up the pitch, and you're like, whoa, who's picking them up? I actually think they'll cause us some problems, but I'm going to go with their 2-0 win.
2-0. Jordan?
I'm going 4-0. I think this could be a game where we're going to flex, as I said earlier on. I think it's the game where we go there and are like, wow, but Burnley lost 4-0 at home. Do you know what I mean? I think we'll beat him up.
I was leaning towards that as well. But I'll go 3 then. I'll go 3-0. And Victor to get a couple. But every time I say Victor to get a couple, yeah, it hasn't happened. So, bro, last week I even said Victor ain't scoring and he didn't score. So I just don't know. I'm trying to get the football gods to work in his favor. But yeah, 2 goals, and we got Jordan doing this on Monday. Yeah, that's the aim.
Bro. He's got to do it.
You got to do it regardless, man. I can't, like, even if you're thinking, you know what, I'm not really feeling it. Every goal, you got to start banging out. I can't, like, at the stadium, I'm doing that one with chest, bro. I don't care, man. You can have the worst game as long as you bang.
I'm doing it at birthday parties. I'm rocking up. Good morning, guys.
I'm waking Zakai up like that. Yo, little man. Right?
Yeah. Come on, Jordan. What will it take?
More than 2 goals against Burnley. I'll tell you that for free. Yeah, no, I'm just not. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. Not in. Not yet.
Cool. Not yet. People, that's our predictions. A couple 2-0s. I've gone 3-0. Jordan's gone 4-0. What are you going? Let us know in the comments. Like, hype, subscribe, and as always, we're gonna start wrapping up the show with comments of the day. Amenya, this is where we take comments from the last show's comment section. Usually it's meant to be 1 each, but one of us.
Me. I got a few this week actually, but I'll let you guys kick off. He
hates comment. He hates the people in the comments.
I do.
He also picks out about 7 comments to go and read.
But these are the ultras, man. These are the ultras. Big up them.
The least kind of ultras. And all right, what we've gone through recently, they're ultras indeed. The support's been crazy. Come on, big up the community. All right, let me go first with mine. I've just got one. I've just got one comment of the day. I haven't messed about. My one's from Dwayne. He said, I find myself agreeing with some of Turkish's points, and I'm sure that's right. And agree with most of James' points, and I'm sure that's wrong. And I don't agree with almost any of Jordan's points, so I might as well stop watching, but I don't, and I won't. Best pod ever. Thanks. Big up, Dwayne. I like that one.
Big up, Dwayne.
Halfway through the message, I was thinking, do I hide this person from the channel? But then by the end of it, it was all love.
Big him up. Go on, James.
So, I mean, are we going to address the tweet?
Well, there's 2 that need addressing.
I was hoping.
Go on. You do it, James. Go on.
All right. So, Jordan, at 8:33 p.m. last night, he atted Netflix. You gave us a generational doc with The Last Dance. You know who needs to be next? We're all waiting for ... the Carl Lewis story. This would be, and he puts 4 fire emojis. To which Harold replies, he adds James in Turkish, come get your boy, Arsenal playing, and he's once again waffling about Netflix. Hashtag highlight merchant.
So I take issue with the waffling, first of all. I thought it was a genuine tweet that was, people want the Carl Lewis story. If you know your sports, Carl Lewis, that story's interesting. Second of all, my main point is, so people can't tweet and watch a football game at the same time. Is that like...
Focus on your team. You're watching youngsters ball out and you're worrying about a Netflix documentary.
Netflix.
The tweet literally took 7 seconds. Like, I don't understand what the...
what did you say it was? 8:33, yeah?
8:33.
Yeah.
Kickoff was what, 7:45? Does that get him into halftime?
It might have got him into halftime.
There you go. Help me out, bro. Help me out.
I want to be fair. I want to be fair. That would be 45 plus 3. You may have done that immediately at halftime. But
I think I probably
why
did.
were you in a rush, though? Why were you in such a rush? Like, let the whistle go and then think about it. Because that was premeditated.
You know what? Now you mentioned it, I think it was halftime. I think there was an advert break. That's what triggered my... I think it was an advert.
Wasn't it like 4 minutes added, though? Oh, I have to go back and...
He's drawing you back out.
But this goes on.
Tweet, though. It's a dumb tweet. Sorry.
Jordan replied, because it's impossible to do 2, even 3. Check this, even 4 things at the same time. 5.
True. What
And
an idiot.
then Harold replied, "You had me at 2 things, but 4. Brother, you ain't even watching the highlights anymore. Just straight to the final result."
That was funny. That was funny.
What an interaction. I need to
That
like
was
all
funny.
those.
That was funny.
Big up the
Well done,
community.
guys.
It's a stupid tweet, but big up yourself.
You
anyway.
don't help yourself though. Like
He
the
doesn't.
game's on and you're
That's
atting
not
Netflix.
Yeah, right. Maybe the timing, considering the pod we're doing, wasn't great. But the premise of his point is stupid. That like because I'm tweeting Netflix, I can't be watching the game. My team play anyway.
Did you watch the game?
Of course, I watched the game. I watched all of it. But so there was another tweet, and I can't find it, so I'm going to paraphrase it. But it was another stupid idiot. The paraphrase of this tweet was, I met Jordan out somewhere, and he doesn't remember my name, but then he said, "Now I know why your breath stinks so much, and it's because you talk utter shit." And I can't find a tweet or the post anyway. I've been looking for it earlier on. I should have screenshot it. But my thing is this. You clearly you made a really bad joke to try and make the point that you think I'm talking rubbish. Rather than just saying Jordan just talks absolute rubbish, you made up a lie about my breath smelling. Now, I'm 42 years old. My mum, on 2 occasions in my entire life, has said to me, Jordan, maybe when I just take a little breath mint. Because mums can do that, right? Mums can be raw and honest with you, right? But I just thought, why would you try and insert a joke to make what might be a legitimate point? I just thought it was so stupid. Go on.
I have the answer. So obviously we have to. People call me an unk, but obviously I'm in the midst of even more unks than myself. So I got to help you guys out a little bit. You have been what the youngsters call rage baited. He got you. That was his aim to get this reaction, and you've given him 2 minutes of anger about him saying that.
Bro, my breath doesn't smell. He could have just tweeted. Jordan talks absolute shit. He could have just said that.
No, but this got a better reaction.
Be alone.
This one, he can clip this now, send it to his mates at school. Like, yo, look at the reaction I got here. He's lost his head. He's angry.
Fair enough. You're
gonna have 4 men talking about your breath.
You're right. A couple more guys. People really triggered by my views on Gyökeres. Like, if you like Gyökeres, cool. I don't rate the guy, but people are like, "Oh, back your guy." I'm like, I back the guy, but I'm not going to be blinded to what I see. The guy's a caravan, and I'm going to call it out. When he scores a hat trick, I will praise him and I'll big him up. But everyone was triggered anyway. So on to 2 slightly more kind of serious points. One serious point, one serious comment. One, I want to just shout out all of my Jamaican people that have been affected by the hurricane happening out there. I know it's moved on past the island, and I think it's now moved on to Haiti and Cuba, I think.
Next, yeah.
I'm going to post some links on my Instagram story with some links whereby if you want to help and donate anything, you can do that. I think, are doing a thing at the moment whereby they'll do callbacks for free, because half the people in Jamaica to call out because electricity's gone down. But if you call them, they'll do a free thing. So check out EE's page. And then a serious one that I got in, I just thought was worth reading, not to bring the mood down too much, was somebody commented saying, Monday afternoon, after I finished work, I felt such in a dark, dark place. I was feeling selfish and weak and not thinking about my son. I was considering ways how to end my life. I didn't want to talk to anyone, but I went on my phone, noticed I'd started the pod 20 minutes before work started. I pressed play. Although I paused it a few times, still in the place I was in, but approaching the hour mark, I was no longer pausing. I was completely engaged in the pod, and I had successfully got myself out of that headspace. I would just like to thank all 4 of the young men on the pod for making such entertaining, passionate content. Thanking you all on behalf of myself and my young son, one day at a time. Got to keep trying. Cheers, Joe. So I wanted to say big up, Joe. I'm glad the pod made you feel better, and whatever you're going through, I would advise you speak to somebody. There are professional people out there you can speak to. Please reach out to some people. And I hope you are in a better place today. And I'm glad the pod does bring you some solace and some enjoyment. You know, I don't mind getting battered by the comments for my crap views, but we're here to talk about Arsenal. We love Arsenal. I'm sure you love Arsenal too. and I'm glad that you're getting something from the podcast. So big up, Joe. Hopefully you're smiling. I want to give you a shout out. And anybody else that's struggling, speak to people, talk to people. Don't suffer in silence. Is that on that one? And then a final plug for my interview with Tyler Adams. Go on, Turkish. Go on. Sorry,
because it is a serious subject. I want to say big up Joe and big up, everyone that does leave similar comments in terms of what they take from the show. In particular, Joe, don't ever forget your son and just remember his face. Remember how much you mean to him. Do you know what I mean? Just think about what his life would be without you being there. Think about these things, because the importance of a father in a child's life, it cannot be replicated. So anytime you're in a dark place, just pull out a picture of your son, because that is the light, right? And hopefully, like Jordan said, you do, get the peace and love that you need, that you deserve, and just remember, remember the light at the end of the tunnel, and that is your son, and that is little man, that is the life you've brought to the world. So I just want to add that in as well, because
big up. Big
having a son myself, it kind of, when you mentioned that, it kind of touches home. So
no doubt.
And I go through tough times, nothing as deep as that, and when I'm going through tough times, I pull out my phone, he's there, he's on the screen. It's just a moment of clarity that what is life. This is life, him, us. But yeah, big up Joe.
Well said. Big up Joe. Big up the 1,000 comments that came in. 1,000 comments is dope. In 3 days. So thank you for that. And just a quick plug for my interview with Tyler Adams, the Bournemouth midfielder and American men's captain. The full interview is on my Plug City here. The full interview is on my Instagram page. So if you want to watch that, if you care about my crap views, my bad breath, you can go to my Instagram page and you can check it out there. Big up yourselves.
You can't smell it through the screen, people. That's you can't smell it through
me.
The screen.
Man, just what it triggered me, because there's say many things about me. My views are awful, but my breath.
And then he's still going. The
He won, bro. He won 1-0, man. 1-0. I said he won.
You gotta go quote tweet him and make it 1-1 in the next week, Jordan. I'm telling you. But listen, community, love as always. Comments, leave them. Comments of the day next time out. And most importantly today, big up to Amenya. Pleasure. First time we've worked together, but I saw you done FCM on the weekend with Cams, Fuad, Maze, and the boys over there. But let them, I'm gonna put your channel link and socials in the description. But just let them know where they can find you and what you're about.
Yeah. TikTok, I'm there yapping every single day. I think I've posted daily for the last 2 years straight now. I'm now doing the long form thing on YouTube. Like I said, daily videos for the last month or two. I'm on like 47K on that one. So I'm getting there slowly on YouTube, trying to get to the 50, and then one day try to be like Turkish with the plaques and whatnot, you know what I mean? But slowly we'll be there. Daily videos, we keep grinding. But I don't just do Arsenal. I'm more of like you said before, in a worldwide thing, La Liga, Premier League, Serie A, even Club World Cup. I'm there yapping about the South African team. So I like football, and if you like football, I try to be I'll be honest, there's gonna be people saying in the comments probably I didn't even know he was an Arsenal fan, because I don't actually mention that I support Arsenal in the videos. So people spam every day, what team do you support? But obviously, if you're here, guys like Turkish, when they shout me, I'm like, hey, I can't say no. I can't say no. So yeah.
Come on, bro. I just assumed as well. I don't know how I knew, but I just assumed that,
like Instagram, like I post obviously going Emirates all the time and that, but on TikTok and YouTube, I don't say anything, because it just leads to people spamming like, when you can't have conversations without, like, obviously I like trolling and rage bait every now and then, but in general, you want to have conversations without people saying like, oh, Warra 15th, Warra Champions League. Just have normal conversations every now and then. So
yeah. Well, what's the account you rage bait from, and what's the account that talked about your breath, Jordan? Just so I can try
to put his link in the bio.
I want to find it.
There you go, people. Show Amenya some love, socials and his platform on YouTube, road to 50K. So let's make it happen, and we've been doing that in the first few episodes of the Loose Cannons relaunch. So let's get Amenya to 50K, as close as possible to 50K. The content's actually good, and the knowledge is actually there. I wouldn't lie to you people, and he wouldn't be on the show if he didn't have something about him. So make sure you go show Amenya some love. Won't be the last time. And as always, James the Gooniverse News, Coolest Disabled, which is Jordan's channel. Obviously, he's got the Tyler Adams interview out on the Instagram too, on the socials. Jordan, Jarrett, Brian, and mine. You're here. Turkish LDN. Like, hype, subscribe, and if you want to follow the Big 6-2, go subscribe over there. We'll be back again, people, Monday morning. We're recording late Sunday night. I know Arsenal play Saturday while we're waiting because City City and Liverpool games are important, and we're going to wait for them to finish, and hopefully extend our lead on one of them. And we'll be back Sunday night, out Monday morning. Love for the love, people. We'll see you then. Peace. We're out.